What is up, friends? How is everybody doing? Welcome back to Phil Plays Bass. Thank you for joining me. I see Michael will be here in a flash. Jeffrey's already here. Hello, Jeffrey. Hello, Zahar. How's everybody doing today? I hope the weather is, I don't know, a bit more normal in your ends of the world. It's just hasn't rained in Belgium for like 2 weeks. It's a bit, it's not good for the vegetable patch. But hey, we've got bigger problems today. We're transcribing a little bit of we're going over again a bit of Oscar Peterson. But first and foremost, since Michael's finally been able to use the app, turns out it was probably some kind of browser related issue, even though I did test it on a bunch of different browsers, and I didn't get any issues, but it can vary depending on the versions, the computer, blah blah blah, all sorts of little variables that are sometimes a little bit outside of my control. But I figured we'd do a little bit of a practice on a couple of them, because I haven't really implemented any form of explanation or tutorials on how to use them. So I thought we'd give a couple of them a try. And it's never really lost, because this is the kind of exercises that I would do myself, even if it doesn't yet fully sort of match your practice style. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear how you would practice this kind of stuff, and if the app itself doesn't really match, or you just don't see the point, I'd like to hear that. So if you guys don't see the point, that's kind of well, it's important that I know about it. Name the Triad is the one that I was going to try out today. I hope it still works, because I did do a bunch. I haven't revisited this one in a while, so it's kind of my it's kind of my fault. But the point of this app is to help you guys. I am very, very tiny there in the corner. Whoop. This will be fine. What's the point of this, right? You might wonder. There's a bunch of notes there. Okay, it's a triad. The one note that is highlighted is the root note, but you can't sort of click it off, is because there's still a bunch of conflicts with augmented. Anyway, I'll get to it. The point is to being able to name the triad kind of immediately. So whenever you hear the name, whenever you hear G major or C minor or B flat half diminished or B flat blah blah blah, you instantly have a couple of notes that sort of pop up in your head. It's basically like flashcards for memorizing triads or being able to quickly identify triads. It's all based off of the modes of the major scale. Essentially, it's, do you know what each note is when it's unaltered? So each mode, if you start the C major scale on C, you know that C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C will give you a major scale. But if you start that on E, and you do the same thing, you know you'll get just the letters without any alterations. You know that you'll get a minor chord if you play the first note, the third, and the fifth. And this is kind of this. It's the first version of this app is associating note names or letters with a particular chord quality, like immediately. So if I see G, B, D, immediately I'm like, okay, this is a G major triad. So if I click, the buttons are not, oh jeez, okay, I've a bunch of changes that need to be made there. I know it's a G major triad, and the points don't even display themselves, but we do have a little green thing that's flashing behind the cursor that tells us this was correct. In this particular case, we have F sharp as the root note, and I know that because I've associated this kind of triads in my head. I know that F, if I visualize it on the neck of the bass, I'll play F sharp, F sharp, A sharp, C sharp. What do I get? A major triad. F sharp, major. Okay, green, we're good. Okay, I know that E, when it's the root note, it's E, G, B in that order. In this case, we start with G, so that would mean that this is a first inversion E major triad, because G sharp being an augmented third or altered third of E, E is naturally minor. In this case, G is raised, which makes it a an E major triad green. We're good. Okay, same thing here. C is the root note. I know that the third of C is E. E, C, G, again, first inversion C major triad. C, E, G, C major. We're good. Same here. And basically that's the idea. And then you can add minor triads, diminished, augmented. Let's just try a bunch of them. Okay, F. I know that in this case, it's a good one, because there are some enharmonics in this case. Normally, an A triad would have E, C, and E. I know that because I've got them all stored. There's only 7 of them, really, so it's not that hard to forget. You've got CEG, DFA, EGB, FAC, EGB. I just said FAC, GBD, ACE, BDF, CEG. So basically, you've got seven strings of letters to remember as triads, and they will help you establish a sort of a ground floor understanding of anything that you see like that, or just knowing that if you're in F major, all your A's and all your C's and all your E's will fit really nicely with what you're playing. So if you get lost, you're like, oh yeah, but it's cool, I'm in F major. F major being here, I know that I can just play E, and that'll be, you know, a major 7th, and that's cool. I can find my footing again if I've got just this little string memorized in my head. So that's another thing that I should probably implement in the app. Just a bit more of the flashcards ideas. Hello, Michael. Hello. In this case, we've got an A sharp, but I know that A sharp has a C normally and an E. C as a third, that is normally minor, and an E as a 5th. But in this case, I've got A sharp, D, and F. But I do know that D is 2 semitones removed from E. This is a bit difficult to sort of program this kind of stuff, but it is from C. A D is 2 semitones removed from C, which would be the minor third of A, but it's in A sharp. So I've got to make some sort of calculation in my head. I'm like, okay, so this is basically a major third that's double augmented, same as F. So this is an A. Let's just play A sharp, D. Oh, easy peasy. That's just a major triad. A sharp, A sharp major triad. So that's basically how it's supposed to work. Michael, you were wondering the other day what this was all about. It's all about quickly identifying when you see note names like that and just instantly associating them in your head with, well, in your head, of course, with the quality of, at least a general direction of what the tone, the chordal quality is of the context that you're in. But this one requires probably a bit more work, especially on the styling, because I've changed a bunch of things and it did affect the rest of them. The rhythm accuracy one is pretty self-explanatory. Ideally, practicing at a very slow tempo, that's probably the best thing to do. Hope it still works. Oh man, a string. The streaks have become pretty difficult to to follow on this one. It's kind of hard to get that thing to sort of fill up. So more calibration is needed on this one, but just as it is, it's still a nice enough tool to sort of practice with. Obviously the star of the show, at least as far as I'm concerned, is the note match one, which is obviously working a lot better. What? Oh, A flat. Yeah, it's a bit unforgiving when you play a note just a little bit off. It won't record it, but that means you've got to play it right. You've got to play it right. Mike, brilliant idea. I need to not only learn how to use the game, but also to begin to recognize triads. That was kind of my point, Mike, absolutely. But I do need to have some sort of pop-up, hello, welcome, this is your first time, here's how to use it. Or I need to rethink the app so that it's really obvious what's going on. I could say something like, oh, treat this as like flashcards. I think that would probably make more sense to most people. I did start working on that today, and it will probably be ready after the weekend. For also latency calibration. That's the other thing that I was working on today. If you're a first-time visitor to the app, it will give you the opportunity to just play a bunch of notes and calibrate the latency for your computer, and give you some visual feedback of whether or not it needs some calibration, this kind of stuff. I think it's pretty useful. Well, it will be pretty useful, obviously, because each computer has a different processing power. So this will be implemented at some point. But I'm working on this every day, guys, even to the expense of the stream a little bit. So you'll forgive me if this is some of the stuff I do here is a bit sort of off the cuff. It's because I'm really hell-bent on creating a tool that's at least useful to more people than just me and Mike. But Mike has a very positive sort of disposition. In that case, I suppose we're a bit similar in that sense. We'll see the good in everything, but I want it to be useful to a wider audience, and use the stream to use you guys to get some feedback. Yeah, it's not crazy complicated, Mike. It's just there's so many little things to consider. That's more like it. It's just the moment the moment I had created something that was actually registering the notes I was playing, I found myself standing on top of a cliff and just, it's like, oh, behold the whole universe of things you also have to implement. I was like, oh boy, this is okay. That's a lot. And then you just get off the cliff and you start macheting your way through the jungle that you've got to sort of clear out. But I like it. Keeps me busy and makes me want to. I take loads of little practice breaks. Don't get me wrong. So it still works for me. Okay, time for some. What are we gonna do today, guys? Let me know if there's anything in particular that you'd be interested in doing, or any questions at all that you might have. I'm suspecting that Nate might be lurking in the shadows. the man's busy working probably. He will probably manifest himself at some point. Be like, yeah, guys, yeah, sorry, I just cut off my fingers while installing some cabinets. I hope you don't, dude. Just watch out for those fingers. You've only got 10 of them. I mean, at least I do. A little bit of a warm up. Who's keen for a warm up? With a cowbell. Why not? Oh, this interface just looks a bit. I'm not happy with the interface anymore. I need to change all of that. What's the famous song that starts with just cowbell? Like that. That's not 189. What are you talking about? Oh, I think I know the problem. I think the sound is overlapping itself. The sound, the sample is a bit too long. Maybe woodblock. Yeah, same with woodblock, probably. All right, side stick it is at 110. Should we just go back to the basics? Action cam. YouTube not coming through. That's fine. There it is. Because I feel like it's been a while since I've done any kind of normal agility, dexterity exercises. So start with the basics. Second variation you guys will remember is the one where your fingers stick to the note until you have to play the other one, the next one. How does this one go? There we go. Doesn't feel too bad. Let's do back to back. Back to back, let's do our Lars Lehmann exercises. Okay, this one probably needs a bit more work still. Comes a point where these exercises just have to become kind of part of your daily warming up routines, and this can't really get away from them anymore. In order to maintain your level of dexterity, you just gotta play these exercises. Just gotta do them every now and then, hopefully every day. You know, just a quick. I mean, how long does this take me? 2 minutes, probably. just to sort of keep these fingers working. You know, same as this the dreaded static hold isometric finger dexterator destructor. The Dexterminator. I like that. Is the Dexterminator. Come on, guys. Dexterminator. Don't pay attention to my right hand. It's an absolute mess, but... I like how this one is looking now, because my forearm is barely moving at all, whereas before I would use it to sort of shift my pinky more often. Not more often, just more than I would use the tiny little muscles in my pinky finger to sort of bend it and reach over. Now the sort of swinging arm thing has nearly completely disappeared, so I'm happy with that. There's still a bit of it, you know. You're not forbidden to use it in the wild, in actual playing situations. Just it's nice. I think it's nice to be able to do both. Mike, Loverboy is a band that did Working for the Weekend cowbell intro. Oh, is it? Is it now? Working for the Weekend. That's the one, Mike. That is the one. That is the one. Thank you. Mike's running around the house, getting to where he can sit down with his bass. There, he's here. Well, we get live commentary. I can imagine you running around the house being like, oh my God, I need a place to sit. And then like a musical chair, just random guests appear just when you're about to sit on a comfortable chair. Just, hey, Mike, how you doing? Tell us about this stream you're watching. Take a break, Mike. Tell them about the stream. Tell them about the stream. And then they'll switch on and they'll be like, what kind of autistic stuff is this? It's not autistic. It's for bass players. They'll be like, oh, it's the same thing. Be like, well, you just don't get it. And also, I'm offended. Get out of my house, says Michael. I get it, guys. This is not the most captivating thing to watch. It's probably coming just even with watching paint dry, I suppose. Except watching paint dry is not going to make you a better bass player, unless you're rehearsing scales and arpeggio flashcards in your head. In which case, maybe watching paint dry can be turned into a productive activity. I knew you could see me through my iPad. Only you can hear me. That's a Hugh Dennis joke from Mock the Week back in the early 2000s. One of my favorite comedy TV shows. Panel comedy show in the UK. Absolutely hilarious. It's gone a bit down the drain, shall we say, but Mock the Week, season 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, probably absolutely best comedy. Best comedy stuff. We had it good in the early 2000s, didn't we? I couldn't speak English that well at the time, but thank God for YouTube. I got to rewatch all of that stuff. That was pretty good. What else did I want to do today? I wanted to switch basses and go through a little bit of at least starting to analyze, if I can. We will find out if I can. Analyzing shall we say, the first the first chorus, the first solo bit of Oscar Peterson's this. That's what I need. Okay. You guys will remember this solo, Days of Wine and Roses, from the album We Get Requests 1964. Oscar Peterson, Ron Carter on double bass, and Elvin Jones on the tubs. Fantastic album, widely regarded by jazz nerds as one of the best examples of trio work ever, alongside Bill Evans' 1967 Live at the Village Vanguard, Sunday at the Village Vanguard. Absolutely mythical recordings, really. Bill Evans, Paul Motion on drums, and the late Scott LaFaro, who died a few weeks or a couple of months after that recording. Just a beautiful, beautiful example of trio work, although I have tried transcribing some of these recordings, but it's so difficult. It's really, really advanced stuff, although I could probably try again, but I suppose on stream that would be kind of, maybe a bit too sort of nose close to the grinding wheel, maybe a little bit too much. Might give it a try at some point. I mean, what is a stream if not an opportunity to try different things? Switch screens. There we go. Should be sort of aligned. Okay, we need 2 measures for the beginning of this solo because it actually starts here. The solo starts at the end of not the intro, but the theme, where they play the actual melody of the song. What key is it in? I know what key it's in, just I didn't remember what it's. They go through the theme once, and then at the end of the theme, there's a big drum stop, goes pam, and Oscar immediately goes off with a super monstrous blues lick that I will just play for a couple of seconds here at full speed. This is literally just bar. We are like just here, and then when you start, this is where we start, and you'll hear it because the drums stop. And then we start back at the top right there. So that first line, which goes over this 3-6-2-5 in F, and then 2-5-1 in F again, starts like so. Not a ridiculously slow tempo, but something sort of digestible. So it starts immediately, so I've got to be on the ball. Yeah. So that's that very first line. Let's play it again. Oh yeah, obviously it's repeating. It's repeating that line. But what have we got here? Okay. We're obviously in F major, F major, but in the tune it's F major 7. But here we've got an E flat. E flat is the flat 7th of an F chord, which would make it an F dominant. But Oscar doesn't care. Oscar decided that the first chord of this tune was going to be bluesy as hell, so he makes it whatever he wants it to be, because he's in charge of the harmony. Ron Carter's just there, like, he's like, yeah, sure, yeah, no problem, dude. You want to make it bluesy? No problem. Forget about that E. It's now E flat, C, F, C, F, E flat, C, E flat, Not really a flat. And there's this really, really beautiful line that it doesn't really translate to the bass that much. But it's a very, if you guys can hear the, so it's kind of a bouncing between F major minor third, da major third, da 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 da. But on top of that, he plays that. Okay, A flat F. Super, super bluesy. Basically this. And then that line, beautiful line, finishes on the A major third of our first chord. And off we go to the very first line of this beautiful solo. There he's just quoting the melody. Again. And we are then moving on to G. So the first two bars he's just quoting the melody, just reminding the audience, oh guys, we've just started the tune. I know I did go a little bit bluesy on this, but trust me, we're back on track. I promise I'm not going to go too crazy. He's obviously lying. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and here we're in G minor. And then we start another interesting line. So we're in E flat, sharp 11. So E flat 7, sharp 11. Interesting sound. He can start it. Well, he starts it on. One thing at a time. This would be an A flat. He starts a lovely little run on this E flat dominant sharp 11. He literally starts it on the strongest identifier for that chord. The strongest note that really defines the sound of this chord is the sharp 11. He starts it firmly on the sharp 11. It's just a simple move, but just brilliant. If you know your target notes, the target notes of your chord, i.e. the funky little numbers at the end of them. Sorry, I'm not being condescending, guys. It's just I need to wrap my head around it as well. And if you manage to start these lines or include these notes on, particularly on downbeats, that will really signal to the audience that you know where you are and really highlight the harmony. And it just makes it just relevant, at least at first, you know, establishing that you're in the harmony. So what is he playing? So it's it's A7. I hesitate because we've got a flat 9, a sharp 9, and then a major third, sharp 11. It's basically over E flat dominant sharp 11. You can play an A altered scale essentially, because that's what it is. Root. It would be A altered, yeah. A flat 9, sharp 9, major third, sharp 11, sharp 5 or flat 13th, flat 7, and when you've got that many altered notes, it is an altered chord essentially. But all of these are part of E flat 7 sharp 11, so the dominant Lydian dominant part of the B flat melodic minor scale is where we are. So starting on the sharp 11th of a Lydian dominant chord will make you play essentially the 7th degree of a melodic minor scale. A little bit of theory, but I'm sort of explaining it to myself as well, guys. I hope you don't mind. This is helping me as well. Because I'm going to have to start explaining a bunch of things to students very soon. Mike says, I know that shape 7th mode of the melodic minor. Indeed, Mike, you beat me to the to that. Indeed, the altered scale. I know you can play it over the 5th chord in a 2-5-1. You will get some interesting sounds. Let's just pick a regular 2-5-1 here. So that would be C altered. You see what I mean? You can get that kind of nice. Let me just slow it down a touch. That way we spend a bit more time on that 5. 3, 4, okay. Depends on the context, but basically in jazz you can kind of play anything you want, really, as long as it's brought up, as long as it's properly introduced, you can play anything. Now that's kind of the issue, is how do you properly introduce dissonance into a chord? Well, you get people used to a particular sound, you get people used to something very, very palatable, and then you just go a little bit mental. Turn it up a touch. You see what I mean? You can sort of play with these little tensions without having to play like a full altered mode. You can sort of dip in and out of consonance and dissonance, and that's what makes it fun. That's why I love jazz. Is you can kind of do whatever you want as long as you're not sort of shooting randomly in any direction. Just be like, oh, it's just jazz. Don't worry, it's just jazz. Well, yes and no. As long as you stay in control, as long as you've got the reins firmly in hand, and you're able to go into dissonance and bring it back nicely into consonance. There's a whole bunch of other rules as well. Well, rules. There are notes that have more impact in terms of resolution. For instance, a fifth will really nicely resolve to a 1, which is also suspended chords resolve very nicely to major thirds. When we hear this, it's nice, but it's unstable. This is the kind of stuff that we want. So Rick Beato talks very eloquently about all this sort of stuff. Is wherever there are semitones in a particular scale, they are the notes that will most nicely resolve to the one that's adjacent to it. So in an F minor, a fourth will resolve very nicely to a major third, the same way a major seven there is a pull towards resolving to the semitone that's just above it. In a dominant chord, you've got the same kind of pull that a flat seven has towards the sixth. So there's a bunch of semitone, a bunch of areas like that where they have the most impact in terms of movement from one to the other, and vice versa. And knowing them, hearing them, transcribing tunes that sound very pleasant to you, solos that sound very appealing or interesting to you, is the best way to internalize the sound, and then eventually analyzing it, which is what I'm trying to do now. And I'm getting sidetracked by all the million questions that I have already for myself. Mike says, I can't take credit for beating you. I was typing when I should have been playing. Naughty boy. Michael, indeed. Teacher's pet. I'm not a teacher. Just kidding. Do people say that in America as well? Teacher's pet? Where were we? Okay, so we don't need that many bars anymore. And here we move on to the third, to the B section. 2, 3, 4. What are we starting with? A minor 7, 3625, 3622. Not really a 5 in there. 362. Beautiful. Starting very simply with A minor 7th. What a nice line. Very simply, A minor 7 arpeggio there. Going back to the 5th. Flat 6. And back to the minor 3rd. Moving on to the D minor 7. So we're in D minor 7 now. Da, da, da. 1, sorry, flat 7, 1, 2, 4, 3. Flat 7. Am I playing the right? I have to play it to sort of minor third of G minor 7. This part is interesting. I don't really understand what's going on there. Let me play it just a little bit faster because this is a slow section. And then we're going back to sort of some blues line. Where does this line start? Hang on. And this is where the D minor 7 starts. So we're starting on the 9th of D minor 7. But the line doesn't go like that because so 9 flat 3. I should play it down an octave actually. That's it. That makes more sense because it's the same notes are repeating. I have to sort of compress it down and go down an octave when it comes to. And then when it's there, I'm just running out of notes. I don't have. And I have to play it down an octave, but they're the same notes, so it kind of diminishes the effect. So I'll play it down here. Four, 11, 9, flat 3, flat 6 of, and then okay, and just as we're finishing that line, we land on the target notes. We land on the minor third of that G minor 7 chord. Ready for the next section. 2, 3, 4, and then we move on to C7, starting on the flat 7. What's up, Julien? Been a while. How you doing? How would I voice that E diminished, that E half diminished 7th, Mike? Just as a regular minor 7th chord, and you can either play the second inversion of it, starting on the flat 5. If it's not clipping too hard. That way you've got all the sort of target tones, or you could scrap the minor third and go for the 5 root, and scrap the flat 7th and go for keep the minor third and play this kind of chord, but you do lose the flat 7th. So actually, you could just play it as a bar bar A chord. So, like so. But it's a bit muddy. Do you see what I mean? How are you, Julene? It's been a while since we've seen you, man. I hope you're well. Thanks for stopping by. Really appreciate it. How have you been? How's your bass journey been for the last 2-3 months? I think possibly. But we are. And just where we start, that C7 is where we go down. So 1, 2, is the line that he plays on the C7. And so suggesting a C7 flat 9, because he starts on the flat 7. 6, 5, 4, 5, flat 9, major 3rd, major 6th. So it's over a C7. Come on. C7 flat 9. So there we go. Flat 9th of the C. Oh, nice example of enclosure there. If you guys are not familiar with enclosure, it's a very, very common device. What is up, Akil? Julien says, now I'm trying to go back to playing. Dude, it's good to hear. Jim really got you going. That's good. That's good. Good news all around. Also, indie rock really gave me motivation to play. There's such good stuff in there as well. Like Good Kid or Wallows. Oh, dude, I'm gonna have to check that out. I don't know these guys. Hell yeah, Mike. Hell yeah. And this is a prime example of enclosure. You play essentially the 2 note. You've got a target note. In this case, it's D, but we play the note that's diatonically underneath it, and the note that's diatonically above it. Why do we say it's enclosure? Because it lands on a very strong beat, the last one, and it's a nice sort of it's you're approaching the note by delimiting diatonically the context in which it's in, and it's a very impactful way to add to sort of be a little bit more playful. Instead of just playing that note, you can play or there's multitudes of ways to approach them, but enclosure or encapsulation, it's sometimes called, is when you play in any order the one below and the one above, or the one above and the one below, and then play that target note. Very, very common, super useful device to sort of get the language of jazz. That's literally just the building block of jazz. You've got a 2/5. And here I'm just using the thirds, i.e. third of a 7th chord. And if you do encapsulate those thirds every single time, this is what you get. Now, because the minor third of G minor 7th would be B flat. I'm doing C, A, B flat, and then C, dominant. Major third would be E, and I can play F, F, D, E, da, 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 and then F major seventh. We've got our major third there at the top in the form of an A, and we can play 8, 6, 7, all together. You know what I mean? It's I'm sort of cramming together notes that. That's a very, very cool exercise as well, to try to do these encapsulations, because it will force you to think in terms of scale degrees as well. So very, very useful little exercise to implement in all 12 keys. So if I was to do it in play 2-5-1 in C major 7. Sorry. G dominant. No, what am I doing? That's not right. That's it. Minor thirds right here. D minor seventh. F. Da, da, da. I was playing the seventh. There we go. So see, this is an exercise that I should be doing more often. Enclosure is literally that, Michael. You're just planting a flag after the note and planting a flag before the note, and then you play the note. You're just like, oh, you think we're going to the target note? Well, first I'm going to go above, and then I'm going to go below, and then finally I'm going to play the note. It's just a playful way to approach notes, and jazz is nothing if not playful. Boy, that is so nerdy, taken out of context. But if you like jazz, then you know what that means. Sorry, it took me a while because it's not really something I've done before. So it's really highlighting a really glaring weakness here. So D major 7, G dominant, C major 7. So minor third of D minor 7 is F, which means I can play G, E, F, then move on to the next chord, and I can play C, A, B, and then back to C major 7. My major third would be E, so I can play the fourth, F, D, E, all together. And then you can just carry on. So very cool exercise to be practicing this kind of stuff. Very, very cool. Approaching all the thirds, and then you can approach all the seventh as well. So, oh boy, I've just given myself so much homework. Oh, bloody hell. Guys, oh yeah, we're just going to play a couple of tunes as a palate cleanser, and then I will have to go and make some food. Slightly, ever so slightly shorter stream today. But Julien, I want to check out this Wallows band, because I don't really know it. I know Willow Smith, but that's not quite what we're talking about. Wallows. The first tune is called Are You Bored? I hope you guys are ready. Are You Bored by Wallows. Let's see if we can figure it out. You're not hearing it? My bad. I've done it again. I was on a call with my brother yesterday for like 2 hours, and I kept doing the same thing. I kept moving my mic around, and obviously when I touch this, it just mutes it, which means I kept doing this. And nobody could hear me, and that was just a bit embarrassing. And he was like, "Phil, you've muted your microphone again." I was like, "Oh yeah, sorry." So if you ever see this light go red, guys, just wave at me. Just do something, just because otherwise I'll just. It's the silliest thing to do. I don't know why they put a button there, but not ideal. Not ideal. Okay, tune. Well, now I've heard it, so let's put another one in. Still not hearing it? What is going on? It's not Logic Pro, Phil, for Christ's sake. It's Spotify. Okay, that's 2 tracks now. I've got to play a third one. Ooh. Did you guys hear that? Interesting. Nice, Wallows. I recommend, even though the first 2 tunes that are suggested to me have the same chord progression. So, yeah, meh. What was the other one? Good Kid. And then I'll go make some food. Good Kid, a tune called From the Start. Don't you notice how I get quiet? Oh, that's that cover from that lady. What's her name? Lauve. Don't you notice how I get quiet when there's no one else around? Me and you and awkward silence. Don't you dare look at me that way. I don't. Check it out, guys. Lauve. Kind of pop, jazzy pop. Very cool stuff. So, Good Kid. Let's not start with a cover, shall we? Escapes you with a sound. It's delineated. I waited at the station for an hour, but I won't make it to take off on an uptight by the tower. And you overtake it every moment. I see you on the rise. You're drawn across the sky. Now that ink has dried, and I can't tell you why. Oh, Mimi, can you tell me? I've seen it clouded all around you. Why can't you tell me there's an issue you've seen before? Or maybe can you tell me there's an issue? I've seen it clouded all around you. Why can't you tell me there's an issue you've seen before? And I can't tell you why. Not bad. I like it. Alright guys, Gonna go and make some food. But thank you for joining me today on this super nerdy trip journey through the first third, I think, of some Oscar Peterson stuff. And I've already stumbled upon a bunch of interesting little concepts that I need to explore myself. So I appreciate you joining in, or just distractedly listening. Whatever. You're cool. You're just standing over there in the shadows. But thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate your presence. I don't, I'm going to get better at it, right? It's by doing things that you get better at it, and I want to get good at it, and I want to be engaging and interesting when I do it. So at first it's going to be super boring, but thanks for sticking with me. I'm sure there's a way to make anything interesting, or at least engaging, and probably both, really. If it's engaging, if you can make it engaging, it's going to be interesting. Oh, I'm losing people by the second there with all this stuff. But friends, thank you for joining me today. This was Phil Plays Bass. I will see you all Saturday. Most likely on Saturday. And I appreciate you all joining me. Thank you, Jeffrey. Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Julien. Thank you, Zahar. Thanks, Akil. And Nate, if you're here, thank you. If you're not, well, I hope you have a productive day at work. Take care, boys and ladies and gents. Everyone, boys and girls, take care. I will see you on Saturday. Bye-bye. Toodles.